So I just realized that I forgot to turn on the fire for the Fireside chat, and it's literally this simple. Unbelievable. Hello, friends and neighbors. This is Jessica Side with EvoReal, and welcome to our first official Fireside chat with real questions from real people. It's very exciting. So we last month asked people to send in questions so I could maybe help you with some things that are on your mind as a homeowner, and I did get a few questions. So today we're going to address 3 questions. 2 of them are real estate related, and the third one at the end is not really real estate related. It's a little more fun and personal. So if for those of you who are not interested in fun and personal, just skip that last question. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so our first question comes from Susan. Susan, thanks so much for sending in your question. She says she has a 3-bed, 2-bath home with 3,000 square feet. All the bedrooms and bathrooms are on the main floor. The downstairs is a full daylight basement. Half of it is finished and carpeted and serves as a TV and workout room. The other half is unfinished. Her question is, it's divided into 2 unfinished storage areas, and one of those rooms has a full window and could easily be finished out. Our house is the smallest in the neighborhood, and now I'm wondering, for resale purposes, would it serve me to finish out that area and install a 3rd bathroom / 4th bedroom? So this is a very good question, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that have the same type of question. So I did email Susan back, and I asked her a very important question that I'm going to ask anybody who asks me something similar to this, and that is, how long do you plan to stay in the home? In other words, are you going to be there for a while, or are you planning on selling tomorrow? Because renovations, you don't always get 100% back what you put into that renovation, especially bigger renovations. It can certainly add value to the home, but the question is it going to add 100% of the value that you put into it? And that question then segues into another question, which is, what kind of quality are you going to be putting into the bathroom and or kitchen or whatever that remodel is? Because if you're going to sell it tomorrow, you probably don't want to do quartz countertops and custom cabinetry and all of that, because you're probably not going to get that back out. There's some ways to do it in a way that is economic for you, but still a value add to the new buyer. So let's just address Susan's question here. She did tell me that she's going to be in the house for another 5 years. First of all, the fact that you already have what sounds like maybe an egress window in the basement, that is such an easy fix to make that into a bedroom. And it's not a very expensive thing to do, to put up some walls. Maybe there's already electrical on the wall. I don't really know if it's a finished, like if it's got the 2x4s already, and all it needs is some sheetrock and some carpet and, maybe some lighting or something like that. So that I think is a very good idea. I think a bathroom is a great idea as long as you're going to use it and enjoy it over the next 5 years, which obviously if you're going to be in there for 5 years, you're going to get some enjoyment out of that. There are some statistics that I mentioned before that basically say that you get about, on the West Coast, we get about 67% of a bathroom addition when we resell it. Now, some of those numbers are a little skewed, and the reason I say that is because when I also looked at that statistic, it said that you could spend $25,000 on a bathroom. And in Spokane, not many people are spending $25,000 on a bathroom. So, if you can put that bathroom in for $8,000 in 5 years, it's certainly going to add value. Whether or not you're going to get 100% of that back, there are some other determining factors, but I would say it's definitely a value add that you should consider, especially for the length of time they're going to be in the house. Susan, just one more thought for you. One of the last things you said in your question was that your house was the smallest in the neighborhood. Let me tell you a quick story. I was listing a house several years ago, and they only had one bathroom, and it was configured a little bit differently with an upstairs, and the bathroom was on the main floor, and then there was a basement. And the feedback that we got over and over again was that people wanted a second bathroom, and eventually the homeowner did put in a second bathroom, and we were able to get it sold. So if the expectation in your neighborhood is that houses are 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and yours is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, then you could have some issues getting it sold, and you might have to reduce your price way more than you would want to in order to get it sold. So I would say, based on the fact that you have a neighborhood where buyers moving in want a 4th bedroom and a 3rd bathroom, that's a lot of motivation for you. And think in terms of 5 years from now, it's going to be more expensive to put in that bathroom than it would be to do it today. Our second question comes from our YouTube channel. It says, "Hi Jessica." Hi. "I've been a full-time real estate investor for 15 years. What are your expectations for this spring in Spokane in terms of inventory?" They go on to talk about Spokane's historic lows for inventory, which I talk about in my video, "What the heck is going on with the market in Spokane?" So you can go find that. Maybe we'll put a link to that video here in this. But he's right. He or she is right. This is historically very low inventory for us, which does drive up prices, which they also mention in here. Also talking about people from Seattle moving from the high prices in Seattle to this area. And basically they're just curious if I am hearing conversations of people that are talking about listing their home. So let's just start there. I would say absolutely, if you talk about a microcosm of my own, sphere of influence and people that I know, there are quite a few people that wanted to wait until after the new year to sell. That is relatively typical. A lot of people don't want to sell over the holidays. They don't want to move over the holidays. The other piece of this comes from what they said in here, which was people moving from Seattle to Spokane, and the possibility of that driving up some prices, which could entice some homeowners to say, gosh, maybe now is the time for me to sell my home now that we've got people coming. There is, Spokesman Review did an article not that long ago that basically said that they expect 15,000 new families to move into Spokane. We are still incredibly affordable. We have a desirable city. There's just been a lot of articles in various publications talking about Spokane and the desirability of this area. Whether that's going to translate to people wanting to sell their home is a really tough question. I would like to see a little bit more. We were seeing a little bit of inventory kind of climbing, and then we've kind of gone back down again. I again talk about in my video that inventory, a balanced inventory is a 6-month inventory, and we're about at 1.5 month inventory. So my hope is that we're going to see more inventory come in, which will help keep prices from shooting way up, which is going to be helpful for the people who are looking to buy those homes. I don't know if I 100% answered this question. I think I would need some kind of a crystal ball in order to do that. I'd like to see a little bit more data before I say, oh yes, we're going to have a better inventory this year than we did last year. Because right now, none of the indicators that I'm looking at are saying that that's going to necessarily happen. But for me personally and for my team, certainly we've got some people that are now just thinking, okay, let's get our home listed because now's a good time. The hot market is going to be starting. They got to think about it now because if they want to get it listed and they've got some things to do to the house, they've got to, usually that takes them a couple of months to get those ready depending on how much work they need to do. So the last question that I have is a great question that someone asked, and they said, what kind of hot chocolate do you drink, Jessica? And I'm not going to try and bore you with this conversation, but let me just say that I do love hot chocolate. I don't drink a ton of it because it's not necessarily that good for me, but I do enjoy it. I am also very intolerant of lactose, so I can't do a lot of milk products. So at home, I do this guy right here, which is the Nestle Rich Milk Chocolate. I love it. It's really good. I make it with water. It's really simple. When I go out, I love to have almond milk. That's probably my favorite kind of milk to do that with. And I just went to a place out north that had really good hot chocolate, and I'm gonna have to remember it. Anyway, it was excellent. I like Starbucks, but I like some of our local spots as well. It might have been Dutch Brothers, and it might have been Brew Brothers. That's what it was, Brew Brothers. They have excellent almond hot chocolate. And then I would say my absolute favorite that I've ever had was hot chocolate in France. I don't know exactly what they do with that. I'm sure they use milk, but I just dealt with the situation because it was really good. So that's it. We're done for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful for you. And if you have other questions or you want clarification on the things that I've talked about today, please send me an email, ask@EvoReal.com, and we'll bring it back here, and it'll be fun. All right? Cheers.